Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pits, a Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. I got online with me special guest, Nitro fuel alter driver, Anthony Whitfield. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing all right.
And he drives a Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
So Anthony, how did it all begin for you? How'd you get into drag racing?
My parents mud raced back when I was real small, and then just kind of went from there. When I was 15, 16, they put me in a street car, and it just kind of took off from there. Went into bracket racing, in no electronics, worked our way up to Super Pro, and it just kind of never looked back.
So when did you get into Nitro?
After I worked for John Force under Eric Medlin for 2 years, and when I came off the road from doing that, we decided to build a blower motor and run with the Outlaw Fuel Altered Association. And we started out with a pretty killer alcohol combination that we got off of Brandon Boer, which he is killer when it comes to converter stuff in the top alcohol ranks. And ran that for several years. And 2 years ago, we bought a motor off Jim Young, which is no slouch when it comes to nostalgia fuel racing. He is pretty quick, and bought that and just kind of put it in an altered and been working away at it ever since.
Oh yeah, Jim Young, the Young Guns.
Yeah. That car ran hard when he had it, and we just kind of, last year we tickled with it a lot. It seemed like the car would want to run, but, just nothing ever kind of came together at the same time. And this year we just kind of went back to basics, took all the electronic gadgets off the car, and boy, did it tell us that it liked it. Out of the trailer, ran a 384 to 193, speaks volumes.
Right. So now, how did you come up with Mighty Mouse? Is that one of your favorite cartoons growing up or something?
The small block Chevy has always been nicknamed the Mouse motor, and the big block Chevy was a Rat motor. So back when we were bracket racing, we've always had a small block Chevy. So back when we was bracket racing, we had a pretty fast bracket car, and that's kind of how the Mighty Mouse came along. And as we progressed, going faster, we kind of stuck with it, and throughout the years, everybody said, go to a Hemi, it'd be easier. But we're diehard small block fans, and, we just stuck it thick and thin, and, just it finally worked out.
Yeah. Now, you had some big match racing going on over the weekend. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we went to Central Illinois' track in Havana, and we match raced our friend Dale Lurch-Wilkins and Aaron Lyda. They've got a real bad hot rod themselves. It's went 380s, very consecutive, got up there. We just kind of took Jim Young's advice on how to tune the car, and went out there and laid down a 380 lap, and did a lot of amazing things. We put out a Christmas tree for the kids to come by and, take their shot at what an actual drag race would be like when they grew up or get in a junior. And we had a great time, match racing, trying to get the car ready for our next event, which is Eddyville's Night of Fire coming up at the end of the month, and trying to get everything put back together and make sure everything is right for that.
I know Joey Haas was up there watching you guys.
Yes, I am glad Joey showed up, because when we did that, we got a ring on number 4 piston on that first run, And he just happened to come by the pits, and I'm like, man, we need to dive into this. And he didn't, hesitate at all. Next thing I know is he's laying underneath there taking the oil pan off, and we just went through it. We changed a piston and was back and going business in about an hour and a half. So that's one thing about drag racing is, everybody there, will help anybody. It's just, even though you're spectating, if you need to help, everybody just kind of dives in and helps.
Oh yeah, especially with the nostalgia drag racing.
Oh yes, that's anybody. I mean, you could be lined up next to them, throw down, want to beat them, but they could take you out and they hurt some, and you're going to be over on their pits trying to help them out to get to the next round. It's a really cool set of people.
Yeah, or if your car's out for the day, you had some problem, and this other guy needs something, you take something out of your car and give it to him.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that at Mocan earlier this year. Some friends took some heads off their car and actually put on another car that made it to the semifinals. So,
yeah,
it's a great bunch of people that we race with.
I know exactly what you're talking about, the Nitro Clown.
Yes, and helping Fred out because Fred was having some trouble. But yeah, we really enjoy this, and it's a family operation. The parents are the crew. My wife's the crew. We just introduced her into the backup girl deal, which I think is going to take off. We try to kind of give that nostalgia feel of how things were, back in the 70s,
Right. Now, do you think you could ever get a funny car body for that car and do both funny car and fuel altered?
It's been a thought, and we've actually talked about it. Right now, I don't know. I think it's a good option down the road to put a funny car on it. I think the funny car chaos that Chris Graves is putting on is actually a good thing, and I believe it's going to get very big. So we are looking towards that.
Yeah, and of course Joey House will be at the Funny Car Chaos in Havana at the end of July.
Yes. So, but yeah, we've had some struggles when we first put the Nitro car together. We had the crank out of it every race. We were fighting some bearing issues, and it just seemed like everything kind of started gelling together. The next year, we put a bunch of 4.0s together, and over the winter, we just kind of fine-tuned everything. And speaking of nostalgia, the Grand Prix team that runs Nostalgia A-Field Dragster, they've helped me along the way with, clutch grinding and what to look for, in clutch packs. And, everybody helps everybody in this sport, and it's a great sport.
Right, that's why they say drag racing's all one big family, man.
Yes, it's definitely one big family.
So now, when you switched over to Nitro, what was it like getting behind the wheel for the first time with Nitro?
Man, it's a different feeling going from a tranny brake and spinning the motor 10 grand to now you're holding the brake in your hand and letting off of a clutch and turning the high side on the fuel. It's a totally different feeling. And the first night run that I made, I actually drifted out of the groove because I was so starstruck from the header flames coming out that I was looking at them instead of going down the track.
So now your car, what make is your car anyway?
It's a Holzman chassis out of Wichita, Kansas. We just front half that car last year. We had went off in the cornfield at Eddyville a couple of years ago. The parachutes didn't come out, and the car never really acted right after that. So we decided to put a front half on it, and man, it's proved to be quite the car now. The motor, it's the bottom half of it's basically a 400 cubic inch Chevy. It's a 375 stroke 4125 bore with the Alan Johnson billet heads. It's kind of modeled off of an SP2, but it's a true blue small block Chevy. Still has the distributor off the back of it, so it makes it look like a Chevy.
So how many gallons is the fuel pump?
We got a 20-gallon pump on it. It is right now following a legal nostalgia top fuel setup. The blower is a 671 20-gallon pump, 44 amp mag. We could literally take the motor out of it and put it in the nostalgia top fuel and go racing. So, it's a killer motor, and it's definitely turning some heads. I was shocked when it ran that 84. In the car, I knew it felt good, but did not realize it was an 84 pass. That's killer for a small block.
So is that your quickest run time you've had with the Nitro so far?
Yep. 384 at 193 is the quickest and the fastest we've been in this car.
So are you looking to get it to go faster?
Yeah, I think there's room to improve, but one thing I've learned with these cars is they're very humbling. They'll run great this weekend, and then they'll just show their ugly head the next weekend and make you scratch your head. So you try not to think that you've got it all figured out, because it's the first to let you know that you haven't.
So now, back when you first started drag racing, were there any drag racers out there that were inspirational to you back then?
Scotty Cannon, oddly. When we were bracket racing, I made a bet with my parents that when I won my first race, I was going to get a mohawk and get the Oakley sunglasses that go over the top of your head. And sure enough, we won that first race. I went and got a red mohawk and bought a set of those Oakley over the tops, and he's kind of was my idol when I was younger, growing up.
So how about nowadays? You got any people that inspire you out there?
Yes. In the big show car stuff, I think Tony Schumacher is a real level-headed. He never plays the whine game on TV. He takes the highs with the highs and the lows with the lows. So, he seems like a really rounded person that, takes it as it comes.
Yeah. So now, with this race, the race you just had over the weekend, over there at Sancho and Dragon, was that your first one of the year?
We went to Ozark, which is near Springfield, Missouri, 2 weeks before that to put some testing passes on it, because anytime you take a car completely apart over the winter, you've always got a few cobwebs to get out of it. And went up there, did a burnout, backed up, got the car hung up in neutral, and actually broke the reverser. So I'm kind of glad we went out and did a little test pass before we went to Illinois with the car, because we had to fix the reverser in it last week.
Now, I know you said you're going to Eddyville. You got any other events coming up besides Eddyville?
Yeah, after Eddyville, pretty fortunate to, we're going to Budds Creek, Maryland in July to run with Nanook, Rat Trap, and Bradford at Budds Creek. I think that's a great opportunity. There's a lot of history and heritage with those cars, so I'm kind of proud to be offered that opportunity to run with those guys. After that, we're looking at back to Eddyville for the World Fuel Altered Nationals. That's the cream of the crop. If you've got a blown altered, that's where you show up, because that's the double throwdown. Who's the baddest of the baddest goes to that race.
Isn't that where Joey won last year?
Yes, Joey won up there. I mean, that's, if you're going to win, that's the race that I would pick to win, you know, of any of them over the year, because that's the pretty proud one to win. And Frank Ousley won the Whitfield that last year too with his car. You know, outstanding performance. That car, you know, went 380s, 370s. You know, that it was his day. I mean, that car shined, you know, last year.
Oh yeah, he's got the crop duster.
Yes, the crop duster. We just had a bad fortune of incidents last year. We went up to start the car first round and got a hot wire and a Zeus fastener, and when we turned the power on, it smoked the wire, and it looked like the car was on fire. So, 35-cent piece of wire cost us a round. So, it's just, you see it in drag racing time and time again. You know, 15-cent piece will leave you stranded.
So are you looking forward to go against Mark White in the crop duster someday?
Yes, I can't wait. That new car they're building is absolutely gorgeous. You know, I cannot wait to see it get out there and make some runs.
And then maybe one of these days you could go against Nitro Madness.
Yeah, we've raced them a couple of times. That's a great crew too. That car, I don't care what track it's on, it's gonna run anywhere between a 380 and a 4.0. So you can't second guess them, because if you're late, you're gonna be dead, because that car goes A to B.
So how did you do going up against Radar?
I think I raced them. We were running alcohol at the time, and I think they ran like a 386 or something against our like 420. So Radar's got my number on that one. But,
well, you have to get at him with your Nitro now.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we found a baseline tune-up to go off of. We're doing maintenance on the motor now to make sure it's happy. But from what I can tell, it looks very happy. Time will tell, but I think we're on the right path.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, Radar will be running up by my neck of the woods up here at Great Lakes Dragway in Union Grove, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be running against Tom Moultrie, the Jurassic Plastic.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's always a good show. So.
Yeah, Jurassic Plastic's always a fast car to beat, man. Yes,
that is a killer car, big pump, big show. That car is pretty impressive.
Yep, the Tom Moultrie header flames.
Yep, for sure. For a 20-gallon pump, I think we're doing pretty decent. From what I can tell, it's got killer header flames at night. It definitely keeps you on your toes, because, you know, it's got 3 foot of header flames, you know, right in front of you.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures of the car with the big header flames coming out.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a team effort. Couldn't do it without the parents and the wife. I mean, it's the constant runs to go get parts, or the late nights in the shop, or you know, just family, you know, running here and running there. It's John Force once gave a speech when I worked there that the guy in the winner's circle is usually the guy that's out in the shop till midnight every night. It's not the guy that has the most money. It's who's most determined to put their
Speaking of John Force, he's been having some bad luck these days, huh?
Man, that's a hard deal this year. It seems like everybody's blowing bodies off their car and blowing blowers off, and that just goes to show you how hard people try, to get every last little bit out of their cars.
Yeah. So now, for you, when you take the car out, besides your wife, how many other crew members you have, and who are the other crew members?
It's my wife, Jonna Whitfield, and my parents, Barry and Faye. They're the heart and blood of this car. Out in the shop, I was hammering pistons out, and Dad was catching them about an hour and a half ago. It's four of us strong. I know that's why when Joey came over, it was a godsend, because with four people in a Nitro car, you're asking a lot between round maintenance of running valves and checking clutch and getting the oil out of it. Just there's a lot going on.
So now, for the car, most of the work is done by you, right?
I'd say it's a group effort. I get to make the lap. I get the glory and the hoopla of it, but it's four of us, back there wrenching on it. I'm getting out of the fire suit, and the parents are taking the valve covers off and checking valves, and Jonna's got the clutch off and blowing it down, getting it cooled off. So it's a very much a team effort.
So now, currently, do you have any sponsors for your car?
McPherson Drilling's always been there. Drilling, we're in Kansas, so that's kind of the going thing around here is oil boom. But aside from that, we're self-funded, and just like everybody else, you just make those pennies stretch.
Oh, you're in Kansas. That's where the Nitro Clown's from, Dave Galios. He's from out there.
Yeah. Yep, and Dale Wilkins about 12 miles from us, so psychotherapy is, 15 miles away too. So, and trust me, I could call any of them, and they would be here, and the same goes for them. They could call me, and I'd jump in the car and drive there to help them. So, I mean, it's a great, fantastic group of people.
Yeah. So now, when you get ready for a weekend of drag racing, Anthony, what goes into preparation for you to get ready for a weekend of drag racing?
Basically load the house, the shop, and everything in between. In between race maintenance, the pistons are out of it. We'll check the clutch. Normally we take the clutch out every race and look at it, put it all back together, and load the trailer and the tools and the awning and everything else that you can load.
So now, what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
I'd have to say Tulsa is a great track. That track is a killer track. I can't wait to get on it, actually, at the end of the year. They have NHRA regionals there. The track owners are great to work with. They really step up their game when it comes to PR work at that track. Eddyville is another great track. Mocan near Joplin, Missouri is our home track. We've bracket raced there for 10 years. Central Illinois racetrack, I mean, that's phenomenal performance over the weekend. Hats off to that crew, because the threat of rain was coming in, and they modified their schedule and ran the last set of cars about 10 minutes before it started raining. So, anybody that owns a track that works that hard, I think all of the tracks are great.
So now you prefer quarter mile or eighth mile?
We've mostly ran 8th mile. The race at Maryland is quarter mile. I'm not too sure how we're going to do with that, but it's going to be our first try at it, so I'll let you know about mid-July how that goes.
So where do you get all your safety equipment from?
Between Stroud Safety and Simpson, kind of seems to be my go-to. They both treat me great. Anytime you got a question, they're more than happy to answer them for you. Had a couple of questions on my neck restraint over the winter. Emailed the guy that actually made it, and he responded within 2 hours. So, great customer service with them.
So now, Anthony, if there's anybody listening to the interview right now that's thinking about driving fuel altered, what you got any advice for them?
To go fast, it takes lots of patience. You just don't get in one of these and run 380s overnight. It's when you get in one, just be prepared. It's not always going to go straight, and it will let you know when it's not happy. I've fought it bounced off the guardrails a couple of times, so it's a handful, and it takes a certain character and a personality to run one of these cars.
So now what kind of tires are you running on? What kind of tires are you running on?
We got Goodyears on it now. The Goodyear dealer down here has worked with us because we're actually running a Pro Stock tire that's not even designed for the load that we're putting on it, but it's working very well, and it's doing what we want to do, so we really haven't changed it. But yes, we got Goodyears on it.
So now, Anthony, what would you consider to be some of the milestones of your drag racing career?
I'd say we finished in the top 10 every year that we ran the point system at MoCan, Super Pro, and NOE. I would say we won the Central States Superchargers event at MoCan and Wichita. It's very hard to win a race when you get to this level. Everybody's out there and running hard, so it's just like watching it on TV. People go 3 or 4 years without winning rounds. You got to be at the top of your game to get there. And I'd have to say this last weekend, breaking into the threes is a big highlight.
Now, throughout your whole drag racing career, have you had any accidents or near accidents?
Went off the track at Eddyville. I would guess I was probably doing 100. Luckily, didn't hurt the car too bad. I think we twisted the chassis, but we were able to clean the corn out of it and race the next day. We borrowed a set of tires from a fellow racer and fixed the little things that broke on the car and came back and ran again, which most people that run off the track, they don't get to come back and make a lap the next day.
Okay, now we're at the fun portion of the interview. These are the fun questions. Even though I'm sure you talking about drag race was fun for you too, but if someone were to give you $200 million and say, Anthony, build me a drag race track, where would you think about building the track at, and what kind of features would you want to put into this track?
I would like, oddly enough, to build it in Wheatland, Missouri. Lucas has an outstanding facility over there that they drag boat and got circle track, and I would like to partner up with the Lucas family and build one of the premier drag strips in Wheatland, Missouri.
Okay. Now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
No. actually we eat, breathe, and sleep drag racing. You get up and you go to work to help pay for the car, and then when you get home, you work on the car until it's time to go to sleep. That's how deep in it we are.
Yeah. Now, since you've been driving a few altered, do you have a greatest competitor out there that's like really giving you a run for your money all the time?
I'd have to say Dale Wilkins. For some reason, we always rise to the occasion. We're best friends and would do anything for each other. But for some reason, when we go against them, it feels like you just rise to the occasion. I don't know what it is, because that's a great bunch of team, and I love racing them.
Now, throughout your drag racing career, have you won any trophies?
Yeah, we won the B-Field of Eddyville a couple of years back. That was a real struggle. We were running alcohol, and the car was just giving us fits and wouldn't run right. And we fought it absolutely all day. And at the end of the day, we ended up in the winner's circle. So even when we was bracket racing, it seemed like when we fought the car all day, the first race we won, the parents and I were in the staging lanes looking around, and there was only 4 of us left. And we looked at each other and go, wow, we're down to 4 cars, So for some reason, when we struggle, we rise to the occasion. So it's always been that way.
Okay. Now, if you were able to do time traveling, go back in time, is there anything you'd do differently?
No, I'm actually pretty happy with how life's turned out. I think if you changed one thing, it would not be the way that it is. So I am extremely happy with my life and how things are going.
That's good. So now, if you and your wife ever have time to take vacations, do you have a favorite getaway vacation spot?
I'd like to go on vacation to California when they're running the finals. I would like to go back to Pomona during the finals and go on vacation.
Now, have you ever been out to the March meet or anything like that, or the Hot Rod reunion?
Yep. Been to the March meet twice, helping the Grand Prix team that run Nostalgia Whitfield Dragster. That's a great event. I cannot believe how many cars are there. That's on my bucket list to go out there and take the altered and race the altered class there. That's one of the deals. Nostalgia Racing, that's the premier race. That's like Indy for the big show cars.
Yep. So now, Anthony, what's your favorite food to eat?
Hamburgers. Give me a hamburger and French fries, and I'm happy.
What's your favorite beverage?
Pepsi.
Now, do you drink alcohol?
No. On occasions, I do. One of our friends make a killer drink. It involves apple juice, Red Hots, and Everclear. So you can only imagine where that goes.
Yeah. So now, do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Days of Thunder.
Yep, there you go. Good old Tom Cruise, right?
Yep. I can't even imagine how many times I've watched it, and it's actually even DVR'd at our house. So when there's nothing on TV, I turn that on and watch it.
So, what's your favorite music?
I'm a heavy metal person, so give me anything Korn or Metallica or Slipknot.
So, when Metallica, you like newer Metallica or older Metallica?
I like older Metallica.
Yeah, some people seem to go that way with older stuff. Even though the Hardwired Self-Destruct's not that bad, though.
Yeah.
Then
so, I don't know of any other rock band that is still performing as long as they have and still producing albums.
Yeah. Like load and reload. There was a lot of. I didn't really care for those 12 that much.
Yeah.
Then what's the other one? Saint Anger. That album. That I hated the production on that record.
Yeah.
Especially the drum sound. Lars's drum sound was like dink like a tin can. I was like,
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm glad you agree with me. So now on a race day, do you eat regularly, or are you trying to kind of don't eat too much on a race day?
Usually my stomach's in knots, so I usually don't eat during the day. It's a high pressure. I don't know what it. Most people that I know usually don't eat. It's a high pressure, high strung out deal. So I usually don't eat until we're done for the day.
So now, if you weren't doing drag racing, do you have any idea what you'd be doing in your life?
I would probably be running lighting and production for some rock and roll team, because that's kind of, if I wasn't drag racing, I'd probably, the lighting technology has always fascinated me.
Interesting. So now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your whole drag racing career?
I would say probably this last weekend. Running 380s with a small block and an altered. I don't know if it's been done, but the top end was joyous. Both my parents were there and my wife, so I mean it was a great celebration at the top end.
Now, if people that are listening into this interview right now want to find out your whole schedule, what you're going to be doing this year, what's the best way for anyone to find the schedule?
Find Mighty Mouse Racing on Facebook. That's usually got our schedules and what we're doing and how we did at the track and all that. So just remember Mighty Mouse Racing and find us on Facebook.
Sounds good. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to do an interview tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Do you have any final words?
To all the kids out there that aspire to do something, follow your dream. No matter what it is, if you try hard enough, you'll succeed.
Oh yeah, speaking about kids, I forgot the other question I had for the fun question. How important do you think it is for kids to come out and watch drag racing?
Oh, I love it. It's that's the next generation of racers. And like my parents said, if you get them hooked on racing, you don't have to worry about them going out and doing anything else because they're too broke to do anything else.
Yeah. So you have any kids yet?
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a junior dragster driver. It's gonna be on. I keep forgetting. I think it's Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah, she's the daughter of Michael Hofstad out there in California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michaela.
Another very talented driver.
Michaela Hofstad. Yeah, she'll be on the show, so I'll be helping her promote her. So.
Okay.
Get the youngsters interviewed.
Yep, that's when you're looking at it. You're looking at drag racing. What I like is you got Forrest and his daughters, so it's a generational deal. Schumacher, you got his son racing. It's a very family-orientated atmosphere, so usually it's passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you an invite to the event for the Michael's daughter on when we get done here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, well, thanks again for your time, Anthony.
Thank you.
No problem. We'll do another one in the future.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Hopefully we'll talk about some big wins.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And best of luck to you with the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night, Anthony.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.